tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika. Chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Let's talk about Burundi today. Let us talk about a country we know as Burundi. Burundi, an East African country, well known for its resources and, of course, its big population, but it's, of course, a small country by land size. Burundi is small in terms of size, but, of course, it has a very, very big population, about 13 million people in a very tiny country. This country was once a kingdom. It was once a kingdom known as Burundi, and it was at one time combined with the kingdom of Rwanda. So we had Burundi, Rwanda. It was a kingdom, and until the Germans took it over. And when the Germans were punished, having lost the First World War, 1916, the Germans were punished, and Burundi, or Burundi Kingdom, is taken over from them and given as a gift to the Belgians. You can imagine how Europeans actually used to share Africa like gifts, like territories, like parties, you know. This one gets, another one gets. So Burundi is punished, and its territory is taken over from it and given to, Germany is punished, and Burundi as a territory is taken over from it and given to Belgium. And of course, we see Burundi, Rwanda. Now, today we talk about Burundi, and of course, my name is Kato Mukasa. I am part of the Humanist TV Africa. In the studio, it's Dennis Bongoling to do the production. Today, we talk about country profiles. And of course, this is Humanist TV Africa. If you're wondering, this is Humanist TV Africa, the only network that gives you undiluted information, knowledge, and power. We give you information the way we must give it to you, unchanged, undiluted. And of course, our purpose here is promote education, it's promote empowerment, and of course, it's share with you things that you don't normally get elsewhere. We want to empower our people out of poverty by giving them the information they need to know. Now, in this program, Country Profiles, we profile countries and tell you what's happening in these countries and how you can help these countries get better. Today, we talk about Burundi, and let us have a look at Burundi. Here is the map and the statistics of Burundi. Burundi, once a kingdom of Burundi, today is one of the smallest countries in the world. Burundi is the second poorest country in the world. If you count the poorest countries in the world, Burundi comes number second. Why? Population of about 30 million people. Burundi has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flag there. And of course, that's the map of Burundi. Burundi borders Tanzania and Lake Tanganyika there. And of course, Burundi borders Rwanda and Burundi, of course, will border. Uh, as you can see, this is the map of Africa, and you see where Burundi is, right above the equator. And of course, I can tell you that the sunshine in Burundi is quite a good thing. The environment is good. Burundi is a beautiful country. Of course, I told you, Lake Tanganyika is right in the southwest of Burundi, and the other neighbor is DRC Congo, and we have Tanzania and Rwanda in the north, Tanzania in the east, and of course Lake Tanganyika to the southwest, and DRC in the west of Burundi. This is why you find Burundi the smallest country, one of the smallest countries in the world. And of course, I told the bad news that one of the poorest countries in the world. It's a very small country. It's very small in terms of total area of this country. It has about 27,830 square kilometers. You can imagine. Or in other words, it has about 10,750 square miles. It's a very small country, very small. And as you can see, what the neighbors, Tanzania, Rwanda, and of course, we have Lake Tanganyika right down, and DRC. Capital state is Bujumbura. Capital state is Bujumbura of Burundi there. It's a very small country. It is ranked number 147 in the world in terms of size. And of course, it has about 463 inhabitants per square kilometer. That is Burundi. Small country with a big population. 13 million people by today. 13 million people with a GDP of about 2.78 billion US dollars. A GDP small. Now, in terms of minerals, I will tell you, Burundi has some minerals, by the way. Burundi was once called Burundi Kingdom or colony. It has minerals. What are the minerals we find in Burundi? In Burundi, you're going to find phosphates. Yes, be sure to find phosphates in Burundi. There are a bit of nickel, cobalt, copper, phosphate rocks, of course, quartzite, and some uranium, some rare reserves of uranium. I'm showing the map of Burundi to show you where some of these minerals are. Of course, they also have vanadium, another rare mineral, uranium, vanadium, quartzite, phosphate rocks, feldspar, nickel, cobalt, copper, and the others. Burundi has some bit of sand for sale, limestone, heat sand, and of course gravel for domestic consumption, building materials, and all that. Burundi is a good country in terms of resources, but I should warn you, it's among the poorest countries in the world. The second poorest country in the world is this country, Burundi. Why is Burundi struggling with the economy? Why? Burundi has been under trouble since independence. Burundi has been very unstable since independence. They have been having trouble. In 1975, for example, Burundi had a genocide. The year was 1975. Burundi had a genocide when the Hutu fighters crossed into Burundi from neighboring Tanzania, attacking the Tutsi dominant rulers right there in the southern towns of Rumonge and Nyanza. And of course, that was a fight between the Tutsi and the Hutus, and the garrisons were brought out in Bujumbura's capital. They wanted to talk about the Bujumbura capital rebels, and then there was a massacre of about 20,000 people. But of course, statistics show that between 100,000 to 150 people were killed in those massacres. 1975 massacre, Burundi was under war. You can imagine, Burundi has more Hutus than the Tutsi, just like it is in Rwanda. But always, as history has it, the Tutsi were always the one in power for some time. So there have been always clashes between the Tutsi and the Hutu. But as we speak, the Hutu are back in control in Burundi. Now, in terms of population, population is 12.8 million people by 2022. Remember, we are not in 2022, but by 2022, population was 12.8 million people. Today, the population is about 13 million people. And population growth is quite big. Burundi is a very small country, but population is big. Now, and of course, age dependence is too high. You can imagine age dependence at 93%. It means that almost 7% are benefiting 93%. This is terrible. This is why this country is among the poorest in the world. You cannot have a population dependence of 93%. It means only 7% are benefiting, are helping the 93%. What a country. Now, urban population is 14%, and infant mortality is high. Infant mortality in Burundi is high at 37 per 1,000 live birth. It is terrible. Life expectancy is too low at 61 years. This is Burundi. Terrible statistics from Burundi, I should tell you. And of course, age, like the rest of Africa, many young people are between 15 to 64, and they give you 51% between the age of 15 to 64. And of course, those who are younger, 14 years, are 45%. Those who are aged 65 and above years, those are only 2%. You can imagine Africa generally has a young population. Africa has a young population. Now, Burundi has no oil. Burundi has no natural gas. So I want to give you those figures. It has no oil. It has no natural gas. But Burundi definitely consumes electricity, which it doesn't produce. It doesn't produce electricity that much because you can see 0.36. Yeah, it produces a bit of electricity, but of course no oil. And the consumption is a bit higher, which means they're going to be importing electricity. Of course, Burundi gets their electricity, some of it from Tanzania and some of it from Uganda. Uganda, yes. And they cannot, of course, export. Now, in terms of cellular phones, yeah, majority of a good number of people in Burundi have cellular phones. About 6 million people have cellular phones. Railway coverage, highway coverage is 12,000 kilometers right there. Internet users quite low, at about 584,000 people there. Telephones, call them telephone office lines, and those are landline telephones, about 24,000 right there. 2018 data is the one I'm giving you. In terms of geography and environment, I told you Burundi, you can place it in Central Africa, east of Democratic Republic of Congo. That's why you can press Burundi if you wanted. And of course, we say Central Africa. Yes, total area, I told you it's 27,830 square kilometers. Land area is 25,000 square kilometers. Water area is a bit big at 2,150 square kilometers, and the coastline is 0. They have no coastline. Climate is equatorial, high plateau with considerable altitude variation of 772 meters, and of course above sea level. And that is it. Burundi, the climate is good. Yeah, for a visitor, I should tell you, the climate is very, very good in Burundi. Now, because we look at other things to do with the climate, I told you that between February and March, yes, those two seasons, you are going to expect some bit of rainfall, and the altitude is also there. And between June and August, it will be a dry season. Of course, I tell you, but I always get my data from World Bank. Now, in terms of terrain, the terrain is hilly. Yeah, Burundi, like Rwanda, they are hilly countries. Hilly countries. It is hilly and mountainous, and dropping to a plateau in the east, and of course some plains here and there. The lowest point is called Lake Tanganyika. Yes, that's the lowest point, and the highest point is Heha. Heha is there. That's the highest point there. Sources of my work is World Bank and of course CIA. Now, photos of Bujumbura. Photos of Bujumbura, the capital city of Burundi. Bujumbura there. I should tell you in terms of history that Burundi got their independence in 1962, 1st July 1962. Who were in charge by then? These were the Belgians in charge of Burundi. Remember, Belgium took over from Germany. Germans lost First World War, and Burundi was given to Belgians. Burundi has some beautiful roads, yes, as we have seen. The capital city is a bit good, spacious, right there, but Burundi is too poor. A lot of instabilities, some bit of crime rate here and there because of much poverty in Burundi. Burundi also had another genocide in 1993. Yes, and of course some bit of bad governance here and there. I told you they have very good rocks, phosphorus, very good precious rocks, those stones. Some of the beaches you'll find, water bodies you'll find. You have Tanganyika, very within the Burundi area. There you are going to be able to enjoy some good beaches, sand dunes, and all that. Of course, the people of Burundi are struggling, quite poor. A country is Burundi, and the population is ballooning. The population is ballooning every time. The population in Burundi is growing. They are struggling to get water here and there. Of course, they've had some bit of political instability for a long time, and insecurity, and of course, fightings here and there. The Hutus fighting the Tutsi, and they are all Burundians. Burundi and Rwanda are inseparable because they have the same tribes. The same people will find in Rwanda are the same people will find in Burundi. I'll repeat that. There are Tutsis in Burundi, there are Tutsis in Rwanda. There are Hutus in Burundi, there are Hutus in Rwanda. So the same people you find in Burundi are the same people you are going to find in Rwanda. But in Rwanda, the Tutsi are in power as I speak. So now Burundi has Tutsi, and Burundi has the Hutu, and of course Burundi has Twa as the least population right there. The cows are so important in Burundi. Burundi has very good sceneries, just like Rwanda. Burundi has very good hills, beautiful images right there, places you can go and really relax. It is Burundi. Those high plateaus, those hills are good for cultivation, are good for building your house, and you relax right there. Burundi is so beautiful. I should tell you, the villages are beautiful, and Burundi is known for beer drinking. Yeah, and of course, the land for crocodiles. They have so many notorious man-eating crocodiles. Burundi has the world's longest freshwater lake in Tanganyika. They have beautiful huts for their kings. Yeah, they had kings, and the kings have beautiful huts. You'll find beautiful huts and the outskirts of Burundi. Of course, at one time, they had a dictator who refused jogging. People shouldn't go jogging. They should be walking. And of course, that was also temporary. Right there. Burundi has some good national parks, very good wildlife right there in Burundi. You can see the Rusizi National Park, Rubo National Park, and others. They have all these animals you find in Uganda, you find in Kenya, you find in East Africa. Basically, they have all these animals, lions, and all these animals, elephants, chimpanzees, all these animals you find in East Africa. You're going to find them in Burundi, and they have very beautiful national parks there. Lake Tanganyika, the world's longest freshwater lake, is highlighted in the visual image, located in Central Africa on the borders of Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, and Burundi. Lake Tanganyika stretches approximately 676 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide. Lake Tanganyika is shared by those countries, Zambia, Congo, Burundi, and of course Tanganyika, which is Tanzania today. Now, Burundi has, of course, some fresh waters here and there. Lake Tanganyika is a big asset for Burundi. Burundi, of course, last won an Olympic medal in 1996. Burundi is known for its man-eating crocodiles. Yes, when you go to Burundi, be sure to be careful. Crocodiles can eat you. Yeah, some of those waters have crocodiles. Big crocodiles. We call them man-eating crocodiles. Burundi has the Kibira National Park. Kibira means forest. Very big forest called Kibira. And then they have a national park there. There was Pierre Nkurunziza. This guy died recently, president from 2005 to 2020. Pierre Nkurunziza had a cardiac arrest. Yes, Pierre Nkurunziza right there. And of course, the president of Burundi today is a man we know as General Evariste Ndayishimiye. Ndayishimiye, born in 1968, is a Burundian politician who has served as the 10th president of Burundi since 18th June 2020, when Pierre died. And of course, we got General Evariste Ndayishimiye, a man born in 1968, a politician right there, the 10th president of Burundi since 18th June 2020. That is Ndayishimiye, the president, soldier, army general, the president of Burundi. I told you, in Burundi, it's more of an affair of the Hutus, but of course, they are coexisting peacefully with the Tutsi as we speak. And of course, in Rwanda, we see more of the Tutsi in charge under Paul Kagame. In Rwanda, we see Kagame. In Burundi, we see Ndayishimiye. These countries used to be together. There used to be one country, and it was called Burundi, Rwanda Kingdom. Then it was a colony. But these were separate kingdoms. One kingdom was called Urundi, another was called Rwanda. So the colonists merged them together to become Urundi, Rwanda. Then, until then, the Germans conquered them. But when the Germans lost the First World War, they were punished, and the Burundi was given to the Belgians. Today, Burundi is independent since 1962, but Burundi is unstable, very poor, second poorest country in the world, and the population is ballooning. What do we do to fix Burundi? We need better leaders for Burundi. We need better leaders for Burundi. We need better policies. We need better funding policies. We need better economic policies for Burundi. And we need a stable country. You are only 3 tribes. Why are you fighting? 3 tribes, Twa, Hutu, and Tutsi. The Twa are only 1%. Why are you fighting in Burundi? And of course, we know that the Hutus are over 80%. 80%. Over 80% in Burundi can be said to be Hutus. And the Tutsi are few. And they are all lovely people. You can all coexist peacefully and build this country. Stop fighting, stop conflicts, sit down and build this country. And of course, stop corruption in Burundi. Thank you so much for watching. Today it was Burundi on our radar, giving you this country to you. And of course, we shall be back to tell you more about other countries. See you in the next show.